Hey everyone, welcome back to another Godzilla Battle Line video, and today we are going over Burning Godzilla, and I will be giving you my thoughts on this brand new unit that was just added to the game yesterday. Before we get started, I just wanted to say that the battles you see on screen are from my live stream, so if you want to see me play the game live, you can join us there. But I wanted to give a special shout out to Gigan, a member of my Discord. He pulled Burning Godzilla yesterday. I did not, and he was nice enough to play a few games with us live on stream so we could do some testing around Burning Godzilla, and that is how I formulated a lot of my thoughts on the character. So special shout out to Gigan. Thank you so much for helping out. So taking a quick look at Burning Godzilla's kit, he has pretty run-of-the-mill HP for a 4-star level 1 at 795, so nothing too crazy, but it'll keep him alive for a little bit. He has a really low attack damage stat and really low speed of attack, so his attack stat at level 1 is 196 and his speed is 3.3 seconds. So having a 3.3 second speed with not a lot of attack isn't very good normally. However, Burning Godzilla's damage isn't coming from his attack every 3 seconds, it's coming from his on-death ability. So Burning Godzilla's on-death ability is probably one of the most unique mechanics in the game, if not the most unique. And what it is he has a charge bar over his health. As he's on the field, the longer he is in play, the higher up this bar will charge. So it takes a little while to get it going, but each bar has a different damage stat. If no bars are charged, that is the first expiration damage on his stat sheet. That is 196 damage to start at level 1. When one bar is charged, he's on expiration damage 2, and that is 294 damage at level 1. When 2 bars are charged, his expiration damage level 3 at 392 damage at level 1. And when all of his bars, all 3 of them, are completely charged up, his expiration damage at level 1 is 588. And that is a lot of damage for a level 1 on-death ability. That is much more than Hedorah's on-death ability will give you. I'm going to go over some pros and cons that I have thought about from last night's stream till now regarding Burning Godzilla. So we're going to start out first with the pros, and then we're going to move into the cons, as you normally would do with this kind of thing. So the biggest pro I have for Burning Godzilla is that as you level him up, his expiration damage increases, and we were worried that maybe Burning Godzilla would have a similar thing as Ghidorah, where when you spawn in Ghidorah, his burn, no matter what level you're on, will always do the same amount of damage. We were worried maybe Burning Godzilla's explosion would be like that. That is not the case. His explosion scales with level, and it starts out pretty weak, but it gets very powerful, very fast. His expiration 1 charge is when you have no bars, and at level 7, that bar is going to be doing 594 damage. Now that's not a lot, but you also don't really need him to be on the field for too long either. If you're in a team fight and everyone is really close to your leader, you could drop him in, let them kill him, and just nuke like a bunch of damage, like a quarter health, you know, out of some people. It might not be a lot for a 5 energy trade, but for 5 energy, that's not bad damage either. And while his damage on his expiration 1 charge is fairly low, once you start getting his first bar after 30 seconds on the field, that is when you are approaching dangerous territory. At level 5, once you have his first bar charged, he's going to be doing 140 damage on death. Now to put that into perspective, when you get hit with a level 30 Godzilla Ultima attack, that is going to do about 950 some odd damage. So at level 5, Burning Godzilla's first charge bar is coming up on those levels of damage, right? And so obviously Ultima is doing that damage more frequently the longer you keep him alive, but the fact that Burning Godzilla is hitting those numbers so early is something that enemies should be concerned about. I'm using level 5 as an example here because after level 5 it takes you 2 Burning Godzilla pieces to progress to the next level. So in terms of just being like what's the easiest levels to achieve, 5 is pretty easy to achieve, and I'm just using that as a stat. And speaking of using level 5, if your Burning Godzilla is level 5 and you get him to 2 charges on his bar, on death, he's going to be doing around 1,120 damage. That is huge numbers. And honestly, right now, that is all speculation just based on math, but our numbers on our sheet done by Brahma are usually, give or take, 1 point less or more on these damage numbers. So it's all fairly accurate through and through. For a level 5 unit to be putting up those kind of numbers is kind of insane. It will take you about a minute to get Burning Godzilla to that charge, so you're going to have to do everything you can to stall him, like putting him behind Biolante's first pre-evolution, making sure he's hitting buildings or bridges or whatnot, because he will go after them and he will attack anything on the field. So making sure that you're keeping Burning Godzilla alive for the longest time possible is your best bet to get these numbers up and up. You at least want him to detonate with 2 charges, which means he has to be on the field for 1 total minute before you get some of these bigger, crazier numbers. And even at his lower levels, at level 1, his expire is 392 damage. At level 2, his expire is 510. Eventually, with these numbers, if you bring him up and up, he can instant kill some units. For example, hypothetically, if you were to have Burning Godzilla at level 30, based on our estimations, his final charge, if you can get it active, is going to be 2,624 damage, and that kind of damage is enough to instant kill many units in the game. So let's talk about some cons. First and foremost, Burning Godzilla can get stun locked by Manila. Manila just had a huge nerf to make it so it's harder for him to stun lock units. Manila has an attack speed of 3 seconds, and Burning Godzilla has an attack speed of 3.3, so he can still be stun locked by Manila. Now, you can count this as a con if you want, or a pro technically, because you want to keep your Burning Godzilla alive as long as possible. If Manila is stun locking him, it's going to keep him in place and it's going to help him build a charge. But a high enough Manila, or even a low enough Manila, because Burning Godzilla doesn't have a lot of health, and a lot of us in the game right now only have him at level 1, Manila is going to be doing a lot of damage to him, so you are just going to basically want to deal with that immediately and get Manila out of there. He can be stun locked, he can be frozen, and it can help you build charge, but just know if you let it go on for too long, your Burning Godzilla is at risk at prematurely detonating. Probably the biggest con on Burning Godzilla's kit is the time it takes to charge up this unit's meter. So on stream, when we were facing him in battle, as soon as I saw him spawn in fully, not when he's a ghost, when he's fully on the board, I hit a timer on the stopwatch on my computer, and we were clocking Burning Godzilla's bars charging up about every 30 seconds roughly. So if that goes all the way through, we never saw him at a 4-meter charge. We got him almost to a full 4 meters, and it took us about a minute and a half to get there. He never fully got there, but it took him about a minute and a half to get all the way up to the top of that bar, but not fully charged. So for this kind of time, to have a unit on the field for almost 2 minutes is kind of insane. It takes Godzilla like no time at all to get to the other side of the map, so you have to do some serious stalling if you want to build up this unit's attack. I guess a positive would be, at a high enough level, even his first and second charges are doing a lot of damage, but even his second charge requires him to be on the field for almost a full minute, and that can be extremely difficult, especially at the higher ranks. We have a lot of players who know what to do and a lot of powerful units. Keeping Burning Godzilla alive for that long is an absolute hassle, so unless your Burning Godzilla is extremely high up and your deck is basically revolving around keeping him alive and pushing him either to the leader or into a team fight, I cannot imagine Burning Godzilla is going to be seeing a ton of play until he starts getting into levels 8, 9, 10, 11, just because of the damage he's doing and the speed at which he can build up his charges. It's not worth the reward. He's a 5 energy monster and he's a 4-star, so it's hard to get him. It's high risk, high reward. If you can keep him alive, he's going to do great damage, but he's going to die really fast if you're not taking the proper precautions or stalling him enough that he can even build up those meters. So far, I really am enjoying Burning Godzilla's kit, and I would only make a few small tweaks here or there to make him better. I don't think Burning Godzilla is a must-have on your team. I think he's a nice-to-have, but I think with any of my 4 small changes, he could be a must-have unit on the field. His ability is super potent and super powerful. It just takes him a little while to reach his full potential. So I have listed 4 buffs that I would like to see Burning Godzilla get. He doesn't need all of these buffs. I think with just one of any of these 4 buffs, it would take him into the S+ tier of units in this game. So for the buffs and changes I would like to see come to Burning Godzilla to make him extremely viable in the game, 1, I would like to see a decrease in his attack speed. Because he has a very, very slow attack speed, he can't really defend himself. This means most units can take him down super fast and detonate him before he builds up any charges, and this is detrimental to you because that means you just blew 5 energy on just about maybe 100 damage. Not a great start to a match. Next, he could have a decreased time to charge. It takes a minute and a half about to get him to max charge. If they decrease that to a minute 15 or even just a minute, he would be seeing a ton of play. He would be an amazing kamikaze bomber if you could keep him from moving in the beginning of the match or block him and build up his charge to the second charge really early on and send him in to just detonate. He will kill a lot of units, but the fact that it takes him so long to build up his potential means that we might never be able to see his full potential realized in one of these matches. Maybe in the all-star battles, because he will not take too much damage from the very early missions and you can build him up a ton, but in regular PvP, he's going to get targeted so fast, it's not even funny. He's so slow, and he takes so long to charge that he's just going to get wrecked by a King Caesar before he can build up a single charge. So I think with a decreased time to charge, he will be seeing a lot more play. A decrease to movement speed also might be super helpful. If nothing else changed on Burning Godzilla's kit, but they made him slower, that would also be great, because they could leave the minute 30 timer, but have him be so much slower, and he's just walking and waddling slowly across the map, that by the time he gets into a team fight, he's going to be built up. I'm not saying make him like Biollante flower form slow, but just a little bit, maybe like 0.2 seconds slower. That way he has a little bit more time to maybe even reach the second bar of charge, because as it stands, in all the battles I've played against him so far that wasn't my planned battles with Gigan, I have not let one Burning Godzilla make it to the second charge. My final change is one that I wrote last night before we calculated all the information on his ability, but I'm still going to include it just because. His damage does not scale the way I would like it to scale from the get-go. I don't mind that at level 30, his basic attack is doing 874 damage. But I would like him maybe at level 5 or 6 to be at a usable amount of damage. I'm not saying his Expiration 1 charge needs to be a lot, but maybe his first charge, so Expiration 2 damage, that I would like to see an increase, because if he's dying before he can get his second and third charges, at least make his very first charge a potent one. I don't care if his second charge in the middle is just slightly better than the first. I think the first charge, which is Expiration damage 2, just needs to be a little bit better, because it would make him more viable if he was doing more damage, but it takes him so long to reach his full potential that even with a little bit extra damage thrown onto that first charge, I think it would make a world of a difference. So that's my review of Burning Godzilla. He is actually, unironically, one of my favorite units in the game right now. I think his kit looks amazing. I think his model looks amazing. I even think the damage he's doing at some of his later levels is mind-blowing and stellar. He just has a few things holding him back from letting him see play early game for new players. I guess if you're in the very, very low tier of the arena and you're using Burning Godzilla against a lot of new players, he can be pretty viable because he's going to be doing a lot of damage to units that aren't upgraded. But as it stands in rank 64, a level 1, 2, or 3 Burning Godzilla just isn't going to cut it. And that's honestly the same for most 4 stars, but because Burning Godzilla's attack speed is so low and his health is kind of low and his damage is so low, you're really relying on him to explode. But if you can't build up that explosion, then there's no point in running him. He needs a better way to build up his charge, because as it stands, you cannot utilize him to his fullest potential, and it's preventing him from being a must-have. His kit is very, very, very strong, and I do think that with some small changes, he could be one of the best units in the game. But because you can't really get him to his max capacity, and it's extremely difficult to get him to his third charge, which is the second bar on the meter, but the third charge in the damage stat section, it's so bizarre. But it's just so difficult to get him to where he needs to be that I don't think running him is incredibly smart unless you have a very powerful Burning Godzilla. But that being said, I hope that he gets some kind of buff in the future. I really, really love his kit. It's extremely unique. It's so cool to me, and I would love to see him get some kind of love in the future, because he definitely, in my opinion, would be a must-have unit, especially for his cost and the damage he's putting out. It is so crazy. So even if he was a little bit slower, that would mean the world, and I would definitely be running him 100%. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you caught the live stream, let me know what you thought of the battles of Burning Godzilla, and if not, the gameplay should be on screen, so let me know what you think of that. Thank you to Gigan for letting us battle your Burning Godzilla. I didn't get one, he got one, so I really appreciate you letting us do a fixed battle with Burning Godzilla quite a few times. The first battle in this video was not a fixed battle, but all the ones after that were, so just as a heads up for anyone thinking that Burning Godzilla has no health, there was a change, we fixed that. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of Burning Godzilla, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.